Welcome back to Sparking Radiance. I'm Jenny Perez. I'm so excited to share today's guest with you all. She is someone who radiates pure confidence, and not the kind that shows up overnight, but the kind that she has earned through life's ups and downs. She's bold, she's fearless, and when she puts her mind to something, she gives it her all. It's truly an honor to share her with you today. Enjoy. Hey there, I'm Jenny Perez. I'm a wife, mom, and small business owner. And although I love being all of those things, I'm at the point where I feel like there's something more to life outside of those roles. Does that sound like you? If you're in search of that extra magic, craving a dose of positivity, purpose, and real talk on being worthy, capable, and able, you're in the right place. Let's kick off this journey together, ignite that spark, radiate some positivity, and discover what makes your life and business truly shine. Ready to jump in? Let's spark some radiance together.
All right. Well, Fernanda Bell, I am so happy to have you here with me. Welcome to Sparking Radiance. And it's really funny because I think you and I, it was kind of like our paths were meant to cross. And then the connection, I think, of our energies was like just there from the get-go. So welcome to Sparking Radiance.
Well, thank you so much for having me. Obviously, it's an honor. It's an honor for me to be here and to share a little bit of my life with you and with your audience.
And, you know, talking about your story, like that was something that intrigued me. And one of the things that I picked up when you and I met and we had lattes, which thank you very much. That was a very tasty latte that you made for me. But one of the things that caught my attention with you, and I really love this about your story, is like all the roles in life that you've had. And one thing that stuck out to me was confidence. Like, the roles are so different and so diverse, but like to do these transitions with life and things like that, like confidence is key. But tell everyone a little bit about your background and a little about your story.
All right. Well, my story is pretty big, pretty long. So I don't think we can cover everything, but I will just kind of highlight the most impactful moments. I'm the second child. 4 kids, and having like a older brother and 2 younger brothers and siblings, I would say that marked a little bit more the confidence that you are talking. We didn't have like the most confident growing up, and because the pressure always is going to be in the oldest instead of in the youngest ones. So we were the ones who were expecting the most and like a little bit more rules and less flexibility and everything. And at the same time, we didn't hear like from our parents affirmation words or any of that stuff. So it was more like you are following the rules all the time because you have to, but nothing else. Not because you are going to get reward or anything like that. I mean, I'm Colombian, so growing up in a Latin culture, Latin home, very strict, where you cannot say any bad word or complaints to your parents about any rules or anything, that you cannot even make a look or anything, because obviously the chancla is going to be on you.
Yeah.
So I would say that I grew up with a very little confidence, and that's kind of what started to just kind of affecting in my self-esteem, my self-awareness and everything, because I always thought that I was going to be able to conquer the world, but I didn't know if I was going to be able to really conquer the world. So I just feel that I didn't have what it takes to conquer the world. But I do want it. So I was like, I do want to conquer the world, but I don't have what it takes. And I'm just mentioning this because as a mom, I make sure that awareness goes to my kids, and I am going to be letting them know that yes, they can reach out their goals. Yes, they can conquer the dreams. Yes, they can work hard for their purpose in life. And it's no limit, right? The limitation is always in the mind, and it's always just like if you feel that you need a little bit more, you need to boost your confidence. You just think about the lies that sometimes you are believing in your head. And I'll say that as at the starting point of my life, just because I had to deal with that for so many years, like fighting that in my head, what I want to do versus what I've been told to do, and sometimes.
So did you have like a little like, and I like that when you said like, what I was told to do and what I wanted to do. Do you feel that it was like a little voice kind of like telling you like, hey, do you think that was your confidence kind of building up?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, in fact, my parents always were like, you think that you can change the world. You think that the world is a pink cloud and everybody is just walking in tiptoes and being happy. You need to come to reality. So that was like always, because they're like, you cannot fix everybody's conflicts. You cannot fix everybody's problems. Because I feel that I've been called since the very beginning to be that a person that transforms lives. And that's the reason why I pursue life coaching, because I do love to help people to get out of that trouble, conflict, interconflict, relationship conflicts, and things like that. So yes, I born in that way. So I guess I knew my calling since the very beginning. But obviously you have to unveil everything through life and through the difficult layers that life just kind of itself will put on you.
Do you think that you had like a moment or an experience that triggered the confidence? Was it where you just transitioned to? And do you think that was there like an awakening, like some people say, or was just something that just built over time? And maybe share a little bit about your background. Like, I know I was so intrigued of like all the different industries that you've been involved in and all the people that you have had the opportunity to work with. Not only that, but like people you've been able to impact.
Well, I would say that I guess in my case, it always was a fight between what other people was telling me that I couldn't accomplish versus what I knew that I could accomplish. So I left my house very young. I got married extremely young, and my marriage didn't work. Obviously, I was immature, he was immature and everything, but then we have a kid together. So I divorced, and I was 20 years old, divorced with a kid. So can you imagine the entire world was already on my shoulders. And I have like to build that confidence, like I'm capable to do this. I'm capable to raise this kid. I'm capable to work hard. And I just started knocking the doors, just kind of work on the areas that I was able to work. So out of the need that I have to just kind of have a work because I have to provide for my kid. And out of the need, I always thought everything that I do, that I have to do in life, I have to do it right. So it doesn't matter if it was like something little, I just make sure that I was exceeding in my own expectations. So that's something that I do have. I guess everybody knows that about me, that they say, if Fernanda says that she's going to do something, you already know that it's done and it's done well. Mm-hmm. and I love that through the years, I've been known by that, and that my character has been strong in that way. So in the beginning, it was more like, again, the need of having to work hard and having to provide for this kid, and having to also prove myself, like, I can do this, And pretty much I was a single mom for around 14 years. So when you're a single mom, really, it's kind of, sometimes you don't really have a lot of time to think about yourself, or a lot of time to think about, your happiness or your joyful moments or anything, because everything pretty much is related to your kid, and your entire time is just for your kid. Your efforts are for your kid, and everything else is just like secondary in your life. So that also affects your confidence on yourself in many ways, because now you are not even thinking that you are going to be able to accomplish your dreams, because you have to make sure that everything that you are doing is going to fit your kids' needs. So I would say that in some point, when everything just kind of started to pile on my life, it was in the point that I was, accomplishing a lot of things, and I was very successful in many ways, but I was lonely and I was feeling empty. And I was just like, okay, well, the entire planet, let's say that expectation for the world is you have to earn this amount of money. You have to live in this specific area of the city. You have to wear this specific brand. You have to look in this specific way. And it's like all those things that like rules that and expectations that the world is creating for you in order to be happy. What describes success really is not true. So I was just probably leaning into that. Okay, I have to look in this way. I have to live in this place. I have to earn this amount of money. And I reached all of that. And I was just like, wow, this is misery. If this is no fulfillment, this is just stuff. And I am lonely and I'm sad and I don't have purpose. And I would say that that was the lowest point, but the most important point when everything kind of switched. And I learned I do need to do something about my life because this is not the life that I am expecting to live. I am in my 20s. So, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to be reaching on my 30s very soon. And I'm already exhausted of living in this life. I can't even imagine myself living another 20, 30 years in this way. So making that switch and making that decision is never easy because pretty much you have to start over and everything that was common for you, everything that was comfy for you is no longer there. You have to give up to everything in order to really achieve what you was intended to achieve. You have to really like let it go that life. And that includes friendships, that includes, many things. I ended up just changing everything, moving out of the place that I was living, not working.
Some drastic changes. Yeah.
Like literally everything. And as a matter of fact, I lost everything. So, and I would say that I know that even though that it's going to sound a little bit stupid, losing everything helped me to gain myself. Because now you know that you are not attached to anything. Now you know that your value is not in the way that you look, is not in the clothes that you are wearing, is not on the car that you're driving or in the place that you are living or the title that you have. And the only thing that is left is you. Who are you? And that's the moment that you start to question yourself.
Yeah. And that's hitting, we could say that could potentially have been your awakening, where it's just like, I have nothing attached to me. It's just me.
Absolutely.
And I think, and I love the way that you say that I was at the lowest, but it was like the best thing for you. And I think for a lot of us, I think that's kind of where we see those transitions happen, where it's like, take everything away. And at the end, we come in as ourselves into this world and we leave as ourselves to this world. And all these things that we're told, like you say, like you should have a certain title, you should have be in a certain stage in your life. I mean, they're all things that are imposed upon us. But tell me a little bit about more of what happened after you hit that rock bottom point. Like, what did that transition look like?
Well, I honestly just took a few months to be isolated. And I think that was the best thing that I did. Sometimes that's the only thing that you need to really find yourself, find your voice and find your identity and learn how to love yourself. You need to be isolated from everybody because sometimes you get so distracted with every single people opinion and with also many voices around. And I would say that now more than ever, when people put so much confidence in social media and things like that, you are not in silence anymore. You are not alone anymore. And people is scared to be alone. If you're alone, you are always with your phone, scrolling the social media thing, scrolling the posts, and you don't want to be in silence with yourself because you are scared of your thoughts, you are scared of your feelings, you are scared of encounter yourself. So I think that was the best thing that happened. So being alone for those few months built me up in my identity and in my self-esteem and my self-awareness a lot. So when I got out of that cocoon, I kind of knew what I wanted to do. And more than everything, I always explain people, it's always a good idea to know what you want, but also it's a good idea to know what you don't want. Because when you don't know what you don't want, you ended up getting what you don't want, but you don't know that you don't want that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was very, very clear about what I wanted and what I didn't want it.
Yeah.
And
I think kind of picking at that too, like, I think that like when, and I've kind of heard that recently as well too, when you know that you don't want it, that's your kind of like your boundary or your expectation. Mm-hmm. But sometimes what happens is what we think we want is actually not what we wanted. So when you give yourself some grace, and that can change, that's okay. But what won't change is what we know we don't want, And I think a lot of times people get disappointed in the sense that they like, well, I wanted this, but it didn't maybe pan out the way I wanted it to pan out, or it didn't, wasn't what I expected. And then it becomes that's really not what I wanted. Then it goes to that other category. But you're right. If we set that expectation of like, these are the absolute things I don't want, like, they're clear. This is my clarity. And then we give some grace to like things that we hate. We may think we don't want, but if they go to, we're not hard on ourselves if they actually become things that we don't want. And that's where sometimes when we say things like, I want this, I want that, we really think that we want it, but in essence, we don't, because if we've never had it or experienced it, it could actually change, or we can change, right? Our wants change all the time.
Right. And so, and that's important to know exactly that your wants maybe are associated with your values. But it is important to understand that character is built with principles. And principles are something that is not going to change. Principles are your builders. Principles are your foundation. That's not going to change. Yeah. So being honest, being on time, being generous, learning how to deal with conflict, and building, all of these things, all of those principles that are going to build your character, that will never change because it's your foundation. You're not going to negotiate those. Correct. But yes, values and wants are going to change over time. Each season is going to bring something that you are going to really want. And you may think that you're going to want that for a long time, but ended up just being for a season of 1 year, 3 months, 2 months, 1 month. It depends. And so I would say that when I got out of that, based on my principles, I didn't know what I wanted. Very solid, very clear, and I was unmovable. And that's exactly who I want to be. And the cool thing is like from that moment to this moment in my life, that has been 30 years when that happened in my life, I can definitely see that, yes, I'm growing every single year. I'm growing, I'm evolving, but at the same time, you will say that person 30 years ago that made a decision of pursuing what she knew that she wanted, on that character building, on those skills, is still the same person. Yeah. So if you knew me 30 years ago, 20 years ago, 10 years ago, you still think like, Fernanda is this. And people will describe me most of the time in 3 ways. And if you ask to 5 people, they will say the same thing about me. And I love that. And sometimes, people will say like, but that's kind of being very predictable, and say, no, that's being solid.
Yeah, it's solid. Yeah, it's foundational for sure. Of who you are.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, I work in the fashion industry for about 20 years. I'm still doing that. In fact, it's one of the projects that I am working right now. I'm always working on something. Always. My mind is never quiet. So I'm always working in something. So I used to do fashion stylist, and now it's something that I am being encouraged again by my close friends and people that know me, because like, Fernanda, wherever you go out, every single person is going to say something about your outfit, that they like your outfit or your shoes or your this or your that. And you are just missing out. And every single person is always asking you about what you do it and how you pick your outfits and how you have the capacity to really combine the things in the way that you're like. Those are things sometimes I am in the store and like people will say like, I will never think about putting those things together. And now that I see you, I want to do it, but I don't know how to how you come up with those ideas?
Yeah.
And obviously it's a gift and it's a talent. It's a skill that I grow, over time, working in the fashion industry for so long. My sister is a fashion designer. And let's say the fashion has been part of my life. My DNA is in, fashion is in my DNA. And it's not something that I just kind of put too much effort. It becomes very easy for me. It's just really part of my identity, pretty much. So I am launching again my business as a fashion stylist, and I am very excited about it. Let's say that to come to this point of my life, I'm 46, and really embracing everything. And sometimes it's just coming back. Sometimes kind of going back to what was good for you, what was passionate for you. And for some reason, for moments in your life, you kind of stop doing that and you kind of let it there. I kind of feel that I live in a cabinet over there. But I was just kind of picking sometimes that drawer and, oh, I like it. I love it. But I wasn't strong enough or wasn't the time. And I just kind of pick sometimes, but I leave it there behind. And in this point in my life, I'm just kind of coming back. Okay, this now is time for putting this out of this cabinet, because I'm going to embrace it. This is part of who I am. This is part of my life. This is one of the things that make me happy.
I was just going to say that, like, I can see you like light up talking about it, like it's what brings you joy.
Yeah.
And I think that's so important. And I think that we get lost in that sometimes of like, again, going back to the expectations of who we should be, how we should be, what we should do. Right. But does it ultimately bring us joy? And I think that's important to go back to those places of what truly gave us joy.
But I would say that many times it's not even because it's not whatever you are doing is not bringing you joy. I would say that in my, for example, in my career that I've been working on for the last 4 years, almost 5 years on real estate, I just realized that, wait a minute, I love the fact that I'm helping people. I love it because that's my calling. But I don't like this part of real estate. And how can I just really be there but not be there in this part because I'm not enjoying this other part? And I always say that the part that I just don't want to have to, because I don't like to do anything for money. And I know it's crazy, but we already have this conversation because my fulfillment is not there. I'm not saying that you don't need money to work, to pay your bills, or I'm not saying that. Obviously, you need money to live here on earth because everything here is transactional.
Correct.
But this is not something that I am pursuing every day to bring me happiness or joy, because I know that at the end of the day, money will never bring me that. So I already learned that money will never bring me that because I already had that experience before. So I just don't want to negotiate my time in exchange of only having money. And at the end of the day, what else I'm doing, what else I am doing. So this industry is a beautiful industry. At the same time, it's a very challenging and difficult industry because it's an industry that, again, coming from fashion and entertainment and fitness, that you see a lot of stuff and it's very heavy. Coming to this, one thing that I know is like, I again, talking about what we don't want, I don't want to have to deal with these people that think that you have to wear this purse, this belt, drive this car and doing this and top producer, whatever. I don't care about that. It's just, I don't. I mean, show me how much are you serving people, and then I admire you. Otherwise, I care less if you have this title, if you did 100 transactions. That doesn't mean anything if it doesn't, 100 transactions that you made weren't meaningful for the people. You didn't build any relationship with that family. So I don't care about that. And I know that many people will fail into that. And I just feel that is a trap that sometimes it's not worthy. It's just not worthy. So I evolved in my business and in real estate, and I am more on the area that I really love the most, which is obviously helping people, but because I love design and fashion design and real estate has so much to do, because the other area or real estate is interior design. And so, and I've been doing interior design for so long, but not really like I've been doing that quietly. So I do it with friends or, things like that. Or in my home, I'm always changing things. I'm remodeling things. I'm the one who is like, okay, I have this in my mind for this room. This is what we are going to do. We are going to change this. We're going to build this. We're going to change the showers in this way. Those are the materials that we're going to use. This is the palettes that we are going to use. So I've been using that, and I've been increasing that skill and growing in that skill for years without telling much to the people. So I guess when people would come to my house, they will probably pick a little bit of what I do. And like, oh, I like your house. I mean, you're being able to come to my house, and I just feel so much joy. I love my home for many reasons. My home is my sanctuary. It's the place that I can be myself. It's the place that hears my cries, that hears my worries, my prayers. Is the place that is my kids are laughing and crying at the same time. Is the place that I'm communicating with the love of my life. So my home means so much for me. And I feel so much joy kind of dressing my home. So at the same time I'm dressing people, I'm dressing my home. So yes, I like to evolve in everything that I do.
And what advice would you give somebody that's kind of in that transition period of like, maybe they're stuck in something that they feel is not bringing them joy? And how do they gather the confidence to make that switch or to make those changes? I think a lot of us sometimes get stuck, and I think and it may be like stuck with what they say, like the wheel of life, right? Especially when we have children, or, I mean, and you can do that in any stage of your life, but what advice would you give to somebody that is like, Fern, I love that you found that for you, but I don't see myself doing that. Like, what advice would you give to them?
Well, the first advice, as I mentioned before, take some time to be quiet, to be alone. And that itself is going to do like 50% of the process.
Yeah.
Time.
Yeah.
And fight your own traumas, and listen to your voice. Listen to what are you telling to yourself? What stories are you telling to yourself? Write it down. And when you start to be aware of all the stories, you're going to realize like you are being your worst enemy. And that's the reason most of the time that you are not being able to get out and accomplish what you want to accomplish. Because you're the one who is putting you down all the time. So check about what are the words that you are telling yourself, and start to switch those words for the opposite.
Yeah. So like reprogramming yourself.
Exactly. So that will be first. The second will be doing a list of 5 things that you really, really want to accomplish in the next 5 months. So I am telling you, it's just like one thing per month that you are going to be accomplishing. The majority of people like to put, I don't know if you are doing that, but the majority of people by the end of the year, they like to do these huge dream boards with tons of things that they want to accomplish. But in the reality, after January, you are not even looking the board.
Yeah, kind of like, what is that called? The resolutions? Yeah, that we create for the year. Yeah, and here we are, September. Yes.
Exactly. And then you are frustrated. And by the end of the year, you feel bad about yourself. And you are hard to yourself. And you are just like, well, I can pick up with anything. And I don't accomplish anything. And you just kind of start to just pour yourself.
And you repeat the cycle, right? Because then January comes back again.
Exactly. So I would say like Monday is my favorite day. It's my favorite day of the month, of the week. And most of the time it's the worst day for everybody. And why is it my favorite day? Because it's the very first day. So it's the very first day that I can, again, accomplish things. Again, I can dream. Again, I can put new goals to do and new skills to build. And one thing that I learned in my life is just like every day, I just pick three things that I want to accomplish. It's easier that you, at the end of the day, you feel like, geez, I made it. That if you put 10 things that you know, because you know that you're not going to be able to accomplish. Yes, I'm going to cook a meal, I'm going to clean, I'm going to do, but I'm also going to do this. I'm going to do the groceries. I'm going to do laundry. Impossible. We can't. I mean, we have to understand. And as a woman, we are emotionals. We work in a very different way in every stage of our month. You know what I'm So some moments of our month are going to be like, yes, I am going to accomplish all of those things. And some other moments in the month are like, leave me alone. I can't even get up.
Yeah.
So you have to really understand and get self-awareness. So I would say that would be like my best advice. Just start to just kind of say, what are the 5 things that I want to accomplish? And the third thing, definitely, and this is so essential, because you already took time to be alone and you already are dealing with the things that you are hearing from you. Now it is extremely important that you really start to put away the people that are telling you pretty much with their actions, with their attitudes, that you are not capable to do what you know that you want to accomplish. You need to be extremely picky with the people that is around you. So surround yourself from people that you admire. And admiration is very different than jealousy. So surround by people that already accomplished more than you, and check what you can pick from that. What can you learn from that? Go to take a coffee with that person. Hear that person's story. See how that person can inspire you the most. And start to surround with people that are going to help you to accomplish all the goals that you have already in your heart. Yeah. And that was, yes or yes is going to change your world. It's going to shape who you are. And the majority of times, I'll tell you this, nobody really wants to change anything. So the majority of times you have to be honest with yourself and like, okay, how much do I want this in order to how much I'm willing to lose? How much
kind of going back to what do I want and what do I don't want? Starting with what do I don't want, and then how much do I really want this?
But I would say that majority of people just they really know what they want, but they don't want to lose the other things in their life. And you have to, I mean, whenever you have a kid and the kid is holding something so strongly and you are trying to open the hand to that kid to lose whatever they have and all that stuff, and that kid is like, no, I'm not losing it. I'm not losing my hand. I'm not losing my hand. And you want to give to that kid something better. And sometimes I just feel that we as adults, we still that little kid that are so annoying that we don't want to open our hands to lose what is not working, to lose what is already destroying our hands, to receive something that is better and is new for us. So you really have to understand that, yes, you are going to have to leave friends behind. You have to leave habits behind. And you have to just probably choose whatever you are going to, for example, to the gym. Okay, I want to go to the gym, but I really don't want to go to the gym. So I know that I want to go to the gym, but I don't feel confident enough to go to the gym. I don't feel that I really I can do any class in this gym. And you start with so many excuses. But then you go and try to your clothes and your clothes doesn't fit and all that stuff. But you really want to go to the gym. So, all right, what are you going to negotiate there? So I think it's just learning that in life you have to negotiate everything. So in life you have to, in order to accomplish the things that you know that you want to accomplish, you have to negotiate what you want to lose. Because everything is about a decision, and every decision is going to lead you to gain something, but also to lose something.
To lose something. Yeah, that's so powerful. So it's going to get you to gain something, but when you gain something, you will definitely lose something. I love that. so to kind of going back to so getting quiet, getting still with yourself. And I think that is so important, and it's so hard to do. It's so hard to do. I will say this, and I do this, and I've kind of within the last year, I've been on this transition of getting that quiet time with myself. And it's so hard to do because there's so many things that want our attention, and literally in our purses or in our pockets or right next to us is like the number one thing. But people are vying to get our attention. Television, everywhere you look, there's something trying to get your attention. And I think a lot of times it's just us quieting out that noise to actually hear ourselves. Yeah. We live in a society where we can't hear ourselves because we're constantly distracted. So yeah, I think taking the time to reflect and to be quiet with yourself is so important. I also like how you mentioned the 5, make a list of 5 things and put a time limit on it and give yourself 5 months. And I think that kind of ties into the confidence piece, right? Like that's where you get your confidence, because guess what? You completed something on your list. Boom. Exactly. It's kind of like you get a knock in or a coin in the confidence jar. Yeah. And that's kind of how it keeps growing. And to also summarize on that third one there of who you let, once you clear your mind, it's like who you let influence, not so much influence, but who you let around in your realm. It's so impactful. And I always think, when I think of that, I think of a campfire, right? I always think of a campfire, because if you get close enough to the campfire that you should be in life, being around people that you should be, you will eventually feel that energy, feel that burn, feel that heat from them. And it's like, a lot of times people who have gone through, they are so resourceful, and you'd be surprised how many people genuinely want to help other people. Like, especially if you have a lot of things in common with them, and that's one thing I respect about you is like, I knew from the moment I heard your voice, and you're right. You were confident. You came in and you were like asking me questions right away. And I knew, and I was like, she's somebody special. She's somebody special. And I admire your drive, and I admire what you're doing, where you're going, who you're becoming. And it's a beautiful thing to be able to see and to share with you. So I thank you for joining us here on Sparking Radiance. If people want to connect with you, learn more about the fashion, I will say you are a fashionista. I'm like, I will vouch for that with the Instagram. I'm like, girl, that is so cute. Like how, and sometimes I wonder, I'm like, how big is her closet?
That's like the question that I've been asked the most lately. I have even one lady like, I don't think I have seen you repeating anything in months. And I'm like, oh, geez, don't even say that, because it makes me feel embarrassed, because it's not true. I repeat things. And it's just, I don't know. My closet is not as huge as people may think, but I'm not going to say that I have little either. Yeah.
Okay. You're being honest. I love it.
I do have over 100 pair of shoes.
Okay.
So, yes, but I do like to have always the opportunity, and I kind of, if you see sometimes my outfits, when I share my outfits, I will share like, well, look, I found this for $10 in Walmart, and I'm sharing this, and I found these jeans for $20 in Target, and yes, I have a $700 shoes. It's how you can really put together things that are like cheap with something that is a little bit more luxe. And sometimes, looks, when I say looks, I'm not meaning like it has to be this specific brand or this other thing to be looks. No, most of the times the brands and the designer things that I have are not the things that I see in people around here.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because people just get stuck in 2 or 3 brands and they don't know anything else. But because I'm coming from the fashion industry, I am very familiar with so many designers, and I know their work, and I admire so much what is behind. So whenever I am buying a piece, it's just because I know what is the brand about, and what is the story behind the brand, and the value of the materials, and as a designer, because I used to have a brand for accessories and jewelry, and it takes time to think about a collection.
Yeah, creatively,
connect everything. So I value that so much. And that's the reason for me, like, I rather to use a $20 shoes from Walmart than a $50 knockout out of a designer brand, because I respect the brand. And yet my closet is no huge like everybody thinks that I have.
Endless. Your house is a closet.
No. I just have the capacity to just combine things that you never see, but maybe I'm wearing the same 2-3 pieces over and over, and you don't realize that they are the same 3 pieces.
And I love that. I love that about you, and I definitely can see that this is something that lights you up, and this is I love that you're pursuing that passion. So where can people check out these cute outfits that we're talking about? Where can they find you?
Okay, you can connect with me on Instagram, realtor.fernandabell.
Awesome. Realtor.fernandabell.
Yeah. Here you're going to see a lot of posts and a lot of announcements of all the new things that I am working on.
All the new and exciting things. Thank you so much, Fernanda. I appreciate you. Like I said, so excited for everything that's coming up for you. And thanks so much for being here with me today.
Thank you for inviting me. It was a nice conversation. I love it.
Thank you.
You hear that clap? That's me cheering you on for completing another episode. I don't know about you, but man, that was quick. If you liked what you heard, hit the subscribe button or share the episode with someone you think that might need a little spark. And help us grow by leaving a review. Remember, keep sparking that radiance from within. Until next time, shine on!